Hello there. This little video opens with an image of my hands and Diogo's hands eating breakfasts. And actually, that's how many of the spreads in my sketchbooks happen. Me sitting at the table with the kids around me, making the most of every little gap to create. That's mom life. If you don't know me, my name is Margarette. I'm an illustrator and art educator, making slow arts, handmade things, and visual stories from my little studio in Portugal. Welcome. I find it funny how I always start from the far left and expand all the way to the other side, as if I were writing. When I draw on paper, it's always like that. I work with the limitations the material gives me. In this case, it's the size of the sketchbook, which is the smallest I tend to use. An A6. Small, comfortable, cozy. If the drawing were digital, it would grow in a different way, much more messy and with no guiding thread at all. But that's a conversation for another day. Okay, so let's start from the far left. There's a big, handsome pine tree that casts an amazing shadow. So that's exactly where I'm going to begin. The sketchbook I'm using is a commemorative Moleskine from the Van Gogh Museum. But for a Moleskine, I find it surprising how this paper really doesn't like watercolor. Unless I am insisting on using it anyway. I knew I wanted to draw that iconic view from Azenhas do Mar. The one you get when you're standing with your back to my aunt and uncle's house, and you look straight ahead towards the horizon. It's hard to describe exactly what you see because there's so much to see. The trees dancing in the wind, the blue of the sky, the angry sea crashing against the rocks, the tiny, tiny people making the most of the good weather in the natural pool, or taking in the views from the lookouts. The dogs barking because a bunny rabbit ran through the reeds. And if I really think about it, I'm sure even more things must be happening. There will be little mice, insects, sea slugs, and so many other creatures all existing at the same time. But I digress. Let us bring back our focus. Of course, my little artist assistant sitting next to me eating his breakfast can't help but want to do the same thing Mom is doing. And I've had a lot of days when that really left me feeling frustrated. I just want to sit down and make some art. But poor thing, at the lofty age of 3, full of curiosity, he's just doing what kids do, experimenting with the world around them. So, Mom, who tends to fall down the rabbit hole when making art, takes the opportunity to take a break, to stretch her legs, give the dogs a little pet, go and breathe some fresh air. We're very lucky to live in a place where, with just a few steps, we're surrounded by nature. Beauty is everywhere around us, even with neighbors. Of course, by this point, the artist assistant has given up entirely on the brush and decided to dip his little toy car into the colors on my palette and make some cute marks on the paper with some painted wheels. Kids and their chaos. What's not to love about them? As expected, he gets tired quickly of his off-road adventure all over my paints, and I managed to get the sketchbook back. Now to look at what's already done. Take a deep breath, recenter, and continue. Doing art with kids around is a whole lot of this. Stopping and starting, and then stopping again. We have to work with what we've got. It's part of the process. I just realized the paints are all mixed into each other. Off-roading isn't for everyone, and I see myself having to deal with the consequences of letting a 3-year-old roam free with my materials. I don't mind it though, it's part of his process. The iconic blue of the sea competes with the blue of the sky, and memories of time spent in Azenhas do Mar, along with the epic childhood adventures I lived there, come back all at once. The sound of the background music, always something from the Bossa Nova family, the hum of conversations and old stories, the kids playing, the waves hitting the rocks. It's a place where I can truly switch off and be present in the moment. This video isn't about that specific day, but the experience, the inner silence I can feel when I'm there only compares to what I feel when I have brushes in my hands and I'm having a conversation with my sketchbooks. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to this channel, leave a like, a hype, or share it with someone you think would love it. Tell me in the comments if you like creating in small pockets of time, or if you're able to make long stretches of creation. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.